What's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. If you haven't already, make sure you get a copy of my new book, The Great Care Crisis. It's a short read, 45 minutes. It's a great read. I'm going to read it to you. Today we're going to do chapter 4 as part of this series where I'm reading a chapter a day. Eventually it'll be on an Audible, but this is my practice, and it's a way for me to be able to get this to you. So if you're interested, chapter number 4, here we go. The Call That Changed Everything. Tampa, Florida, 9:07 a.m. Sarah answered on the first ring. Hello? Hi, this is Jessica Alvarez from Palm Grove Adult Day Center. You left a message about your mom. There was a pause and then an audible breath. Yes, thank you for calling back. I didn't think anyone actually would. Jessica smiled. You'd be surprised how many people feel that way. I know you had mentioned your mom has dementia. Sarah explained everything. Her voice shook at times, but Jessica didn't interrupt. She listened. After 15 minutes, Sarah finally said, I don't know what I'm doing. I just know I can't keep doing this. How familiar does that sound to a lot of people that are working with family caregivers, right? I understand, Jessica said, and I think we can help. She invited Sarah for a tour, offered a free trial day, promised to answer every question without pressure. And when Sarah hesitated, Jessica added, you don't have to do this alone. Not anymore. Sarah cried. Not a lot, but just enough. Chapter 5. We're going to go on chapter 5 because chapter 4 is really short. Chapter 5. Band-Aids and Boiling Points. Port Charlotte, Florida, 10:16 a.m. Tommy Reynolds knocked gently on the rusted screen door of a small yellow house at the end of Wisteria Lane. No answer. He knocked again. Louder this time. Mrs. Klein, it's Tommy, your nurse. Still nothing. He was about to call the office when he heard a faint sound of movement inside. Slow, shuffling footsteps, then the soft click of a lock. The door creaked open. Sorry, said a thin voice. I was sleeping, I think. Ruth Klein, 84, stood in a faded nightgown with her hair sticking out in every direction, like she had just walked out of a wind tunnel. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she looked thinner than she had 2 weeks ago. Tommy smiled warmly. No problem. I'm here to check your vitals, go over your meds. Remember? She nodded vaguely. Inside the house was stifling. The AC was off again. A single fan whirled from the corner of the living room, pushing around hot air that smelled faintly of mothballs and old toast. Tommy tried not to wince. He was used to this, used to homes that told stories and peeling wallpaper and medication bottles stacked like Jenga blocks on the kitchen counter, but it never got easier. He opened his bag and got to work, asking Ruth routine questions she barely answered. She was more confused today, less oriented, definitely dehydrated. Have you eaten today? Tommy asked. I think so, she mumbled, eyes darting towards the sink. It was empty. Tommy jotted a note on his tablet. Patient disoriented, worsening cognition, possible malnutrition. A sudden crash came from the back room. He jumped. Ruth's daughter, Diane, emerged carrying a broken lamp. Sorry, she muttered. That fell when I moved her walker this morning. Diane looked like she hadn't slept in days. She was still in her work scrubs from the night shift. Her mascara was smudged. Her voice had that clipped brittle edge that came from holding it together with duct tape and a prayer. I'm trying, she said to Tommy. Before he even asked, but I can't keep doing this. I'm trying, she said to Tommy. Before he even asked. But I can't keep doing this. She's up at all hours. I'm working double shifts to pay the bills. I don't qualify for any help. And home health? You guys are great, but you're in and out in 20 minutes. Tommy nodded slowly. I know. I wish we could do more. I wish we could be here longer. You know what would help? Diane snapped, voice crackling. If there was somewhere to go, like during the day, just so I could sleep or shower or just not lose my mind. Tommy froze. He thought of his last visit with another patient, one who had that support. A cheerful little center with music playing and a staff who seemed to genuinely love what they did. I might know a place, Tommy said slowly. Chapter number 5. All right, so chapter 4, number 5. Come back for some more. There's only 12 chapters in this book, so we're almost there. I appreciate you guys so much for... I can't talk. I can't speak. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I appreciate you guys so much for your support. If you haven't already, go to Amazon. You can get a copy of The Great Care Crisis there. We have it in a Kindle format as well as the paperback version. So thank you guys so much for your continuous support. It means the absolute world to me. And obviously, for those that do know, this book is my theory, my thesis on where we are today, where we're going, and what the future of senior care looks like. And I'm pretty sure Adult Day is going to play a very, very big role in the future of senior care. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you soon.